Okay guys, it's what you guys have been waiting for. It's tips and tricks 2. Okay, so for my first tip or trick, whatever you want to call it, it's a little known fact that some people don't know is that gold foils can actually sometimes be cheaper than regular foils. And I'm going to give you guys an example. So it's mainly with the beta cards. It won't be with the untamed cards for a while. But when you look at some of the beta cards, some of their prices are super jacked. Like commons going for nearly $1, as well as so the valuable commons will go for $1. So if you look at something like a Cobalt Miner, uh, a Crustacean King, and a Flesh Golem, like Flesh Golems are super fucking jacked. Yeah, over $1, nearly $2. But these are common cards that are meant to be worth what, 10 DEC? So even some of the most unwanted commons that are selling at 8 DEC, they've been a great investment for the people that managed to buy the cards at beta, and that's just because that's just how scarcity works. But if you were to look at something like a Cobalt Miner, which I definitely recommend all decks have, and you were to click on it, and you see, okay, a level 4 is 0.78, and that's about $9 for a level 4. A level 5 is $22 at roughly the same price, but obviously there's a lot more input, and it's $22. If we were to go look at the gold foil version, which is $5 for one, but obviously the way gold foils work is that there's a lot more inside them. If you were to just buy a level 6, it's already $15. Or if you bought a level 5, you can get a level 5 one for only $10. It's much cheaper to get a gold foil than it is to get a normal foil. So look into this. Either the normal foil is just way too boosted, or the gold foil has yet to market and boom, as well as the fact that you get the additional bonus of the gold foil. Fuck, I actually might just buy a gold foil, honestly. But you also just, as I said, you get the bonus that the gold foil itself. You can just buy level 4 for $5. That's crazy. But yeah, you get your level 4, you get your level 5 card. Obviously it won't have the same BX, the BCX will always be higher, but in terms of that level 5 and that level 6 that you want for your deck, it's worth it. It's so fucking worth it. Okay, so the second tip has to do with reward cards, and the way it works is that just like everything else in this game, there is a certain amount of reward cards that get given out to all the players. Obviously there'll be more reward cards than other cards, but once 100% of those cards are printed, they are no longer available. So if you were to look down here, these are all the completed cards. There's also 49 other ones, but you'll get things like Pirate Archers. The most famous ones would be something like a Kraken, the Furious Chicken, the Ooze, the Creeping Ooze, Goblin Mech, Ruler of the Seas. There's like some really big monsters in here, and once their print rate, once they were no longer printing, it's the same thing with scarcity. Once they're no longer available, their prices just mooned and shot up like crazy. So if you were to look at these, some of these are not worth it, but like if you go, oh, I really want a Nectar Queen, if you stock up on them and you buy them at 0.34, 0.034, in a few months time, you'll definitely be able to make a profit. So my advice to new players is stock up. Like I like Torhelio the Frozen, I might buy a few, and then in a few months time I could sell a few and make a little bit of a profit. So definitely look into some of these cards to invest in. So roughly I always try to look at like, ooh, there's some really good percentage. So if you look at print rate, you can see that like Bella the Radiant is at 80%. So I always like to look at the epics and the legendaries, as they're normally a good example of where they should be. And I like to grab a few just before they hit that 100% and they no longer become available. So like a Barking Spider, I don't really need that. But like a Nectar Queen, a little bit more useful. Flame Monkey, I actually quite like the repair at higher levels. So things like that, you just find them useful. Like Axemaster, like an Axemaster, even though he's $2 because he's fucking amazing. With a double strike range, oh, he's so good. But because okay, he's only at 14%, so his price would probably be lower once there's about 50% printed. But at the moment, because there's only 14%, everyone wants to get their hands on him. That's why he's so expensive. But it works the same way. So get some cards just before they get printed, and then hold them, and then a few months as more and more new players come in and they can't get these rare cards, they have to come to you to get them. Okay, tip number 3 is rent cards. If you're on a budget and you're building... So my recommendation is, if you're on a budget, buy Untamed cards, because they're going to be around for a lot longer. As Chaos Legion comes out, the beta cards will be pushed back, and then there'll be the new set, what we'll call Standard, and then beta will be pushed into what we'll call Wild. So when Chaos Legion comes out, your Untamed cards will still be useful. I'm not saying that beta cards won't be useful, but in terms of just playing ranked lobbies, your Untamed cards will be useful, but your beta cards won't be. So don't buy beta cards, just rather rent some beta cards for the meantime. That way you can still be competitive and have the advantage of something like a Flesh Golem, but without having to pay absorbent prices for one. Even though I have bought a Flesh Golem recently, I'm a hypocrite, don't follow me. Rather, if you're on a budget, rent the beta cards and then play the Untamed cards. And if you're on a mega tight budget, it could even be worth it just to rent all your good cards to climb earn higher amounts of DEC, and then yeah, you basically will just play to earn, and then you'd have to pay back what you owe in terms of rentals. But you can get some really strong good cards for like a couple of cents a day, so it's really worth it. And definitely check out renting cards. Okay, tip number 4 is please do not get scammed on Wax. So even though Splinterlands is available on Wax, and there'll be a lot of you new players coming from Wax, I've had a few of you guys tell me some terrible horror stories of being scammed on Wax or just being charged way too much than you should. I'll give you an example. This new card just released pretty much yesterday. It's selling at $1.5 on Wax. If we were to go look at the price just in Splinterlands itself, where you can easily put in PayPal or crypto, same as Wax basically. But if you were to go look at it in crypto, I mean on the official site, it's already half the price. So people on Wax tend to charge way more than they should. A little bit scammy, or let's call it sleazy, not scammy. It's a free market, so they're allowed to do what they want, but speaking as your guide, I prefer people don't do such things. So be careful when you buy on Wax. Please compare it first to the market price. I'm not saying that there's bad people on Wax. I'm just saying that these people tend to ask way more than what their cards are worth. Let me show you something quickly. I bought, for example, an Alpha Flesh Golem at $3, which I think it's worth a little bit more. I bought a Flesh Golem at 1.2. I bought a Maya Crawling at 1.5. I bought land at 15 Wax. Multiple lands at 15 Wax. So there are cards that you can buy. There are really good people in this game. There are people that ask a fair amount of Wax. So I'm not saying don't use the Wax marketplace. I'm just saying if you're a new player, please be careful of the Wax marketplace, because most of the cards listed on Wax are roughly 2 times more than the Splinterlands market. And if you are going to buy on the Splinterlands market, you can just use monstermarket.io, and you can even get 3% returned back to you. So that would be the better place to buy. So yeah, once again, just I'm tired of hearing from some of my subscribers that they got tricked and they bought expensive cards on Wax because they just didn't know any better. So this is my warning to you. Please learn and know better. I want to help you guys as much as I can. And then speaking of monstermarket.io, it's the last tip on the thing. And if we open up a Discord, if you go into Monster Market Discord, I will link the Monster Market Discord in this video. But you can basically then go to a tab called Monster Feed. And what happens here is any card that is listed on the normal Splinterlands market is anything that has more than a 10% discount. It's automatically updated here. So if you have this feed open and you're playing the game and a card that you've been saving up for comes on sale, like if you wanted 20% off a general, you could just smack that, go into the normal market and buy it there quickly, because a lot of people use this. So I'm saying it's a good tool to have to grab some steals. You can buy some off at 20% off and then literally relist it, and hopefully you can make that minus the 5%, but you can make your 15% profit. And that's just one of the ways that I grow. So like I would grab this maybe at 27% off, and I might even just then, I'm quite nice. I'll normally redelegate it back to some of my subscribers and let them enjoy. But yeah, enjoy today's episode, and I'll catch you guys next time. So please like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you want me to do next. And if you're a new player, please use the promo code, and I'll happily send you the $0.5 back to you. It just lets me know that people are watching and using the promo, and I'm helping new players join the community. Also, if you find me on the Discord, just pop me a message. I'll happily delegate any of the new players some power.